All right, I'm going to invite the team from Cassel. So Seth Teeter and Zach Hum will be joining us. And some of what Clay talked about in the first conversation there was really relevant. So today we're going to be discussing a bit about how in a sea of sameness are you as a business going to stand apart. Come on up, guys. So how are you going to talk about yourself, and how are customers going to find you? So without further ado, Seth and Zach.
Morning. I'll start with a little story about a farmer. He was out working his fields, middle of the drought, sees a storm off on the horizon. Neighbors come over and say, "Oh, storm is coming. What great news." Farmer looks at him and says, "Maybe." That night, the storm comes through, blows his barn doors open, his horse runs away. Neighbor comes back over. "I'm so sorry, this is terrible news, your horse ran away." "Maybe." A week later, the horse returns, brings 4 wild horses with it. Neighbor comes back over. "Oh, how lucky you are, this is great news." Maybe. Military general comes through the village, or I'm sorry, I'm one ahead. The farmer's son goes to break the new horses, training the horses, gets thrown, flies off, breaks his hip. Neighbor comes over. "This is such terrible news, I'm so sorry." Farmer says, "Maybe." Military general comes to the village. He's recruiting young men to go to war. Sees the farmer's son with a broken hip, passes him over. Neighbor comes over. "Oh, you're so lucky, this is great news." Farmer says, "Maybe." Point is, most of life comes to us as a maybe, and this is true in our businesses too. And in marketing, we're trying to solve that maybe. We're trying to give some people some sign that what they're getting for, what they're purchasing is going to solve the thing that they're looking for in their lives. And the farmer's attitude feels so counterintuitive because most of us don't like that maybe. We want certainty, we want to have a story, we want to be attached to some idea that if we do X, Y, and Z, it's going to work out this certain way. So a lot of what we're doing in marketing is people want fewer knowns, unknowns, and less regret. And our job is to reduce the guesswork. They start out shopping for furniture. At some point, they're shopping for confidence in the product. Another story. There was a guy, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Whatever college football team you don't like, that's what school he went to. So he wanted to go to Amish country. He's heard great things about it. Gets in the car one day, heads on out, gets to the sign, "Welcome to Amish country," gets out of his car, starts taking pictures, looks around. "Hey, this is all right." Gets back in the car, goes home. His friends ask, "Hey, how was Amish country?" And he goes, "Yeah, it was okay. There's some wildflowers, there's a barn off in the distance. It was right next to the road." He stopped at the sign, but he never got to the experience. And that's what a lot of times happens in marketing, is we're trying to give people words or indicators or messaging or whatever it is to try to get them to the experience, but it's not compelling, or they're stopping at the sign. They kind of know where they're at. We let them know they're in the right place, but they're not getting to the experience. And it's not about the product so much as the clarity around the product and the words we're using to describe the product. And a lot of times in whatever industry we're in, we inherit a lot of words. There's just things in the industry that people say all the time that let people know they're in the right place. We are a high-end furniture company. We are a family furniture showroom, whatever it is. High quality, crafted, premium, durable, timeless, low maintenance. These words are all fine. They let people know they're in the right place. They let you know what kind of business you're in. You guys could probably add to this list. But what they don't do is separate you from your competition. Imagine a furniture ad. It's kind of hard to read, so I'll read it for you. "We have a lighted showroom for better furniture visibility. We have a parking lot to leave your car in while you shop. Easy entrance doors to welcome you in. Our chairs have 4 legs." All of this is true, right? All of this is what your customers would expect, but it's not a message that's going to separate you from anybody else in the space. So in marketing, we have to think of, we need communication that identifies what we do clearly, and then we need a different strategy to kind of separate us from our competitors. So ordinary language is how you get found. So when we're thinking about marketing messages, using those words like durable, low maintenance, lifetime warranty, whatever it is, these help people know they're in the right place. And if we try to not be ordinary here, if we try to not be clear, we don't become premium just because we're avoiding sounding like everybody else. We become invisible because they're not sure what we are, what they're looking at, if we have what they need. So at this stage in marketing, clarity is so much better than being clever. When someone's scrolling or searching or driving by, doing a Google search, your job is not poetry. You have to show up that you are what they are looking for. A lot of times we see marketing messages like this. If I talk to my wife, I'm like, what were you shopping online for? And she's like, I'm just doing some browsing for some elevated open-air experiences. No, nobody talks like this. They're looking for outdoor furniture, right? We have to show up clearly for what they're looking for, and then we can begin to differentiate ourselves to show why we're the preferred choice over a competitor in the same space. So I'm going to hand it over to Zach, and he's going to talk a little bit about how we be clear, when we need to be crystal clear in what we're offering, and the strategy for showing up locally to answer those questions, those solutions that people are actually searching for.
Thanks, Seth. Oh, we're going the wrong way. There we go. All right, so today I'm going to be talking about two of the things that I get asked the most in marketing department. How do I show up for local searches, so outdoor furniture near me, and then how can I leverage AI to help with those? So local SEO is what you need to optimize for to show up for those near me searches. It's what's going to help you show up in different areas in your location. So to accomplish that, you have to pair keywords with your location. So in this case, you want to be talking about LuxCraft furniture or outdoor furniture. And where people are physically searching for those things also very much matters. The image on the right here, it shows the same search term done across a spread of a map so we can kind of see directionally where we're showing up for some of those words, where we're improving, and then where some of the growth opportunities are. So in this case, we're clearly saying that there's a wall up north, right? So we could fight hard to try to go up that way. But there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of green and yellow down south. So there's more opportunity to easily grow down that way. So by leveraging the keywords and analyzing the data, we can figure out if we're showing up, where we're showing up, and then what other cities or opportunities there are to expand. Here's why local SEO matters. This is from a Google study that they did. So 46% of all Google searches have local search intent. So that means that if you're not showing up for those, people are likely not finding your business online. 76% of those people will end up are searching on their smartphone and will end up visiting one of those businesses that show up within 24 hours. And then of those people, 28% make a sale. So at the very top of the funnel, you need to be visible. We get people to show up, and that's going to be the more flowery and more descriptive marketing language that we use. And at the end, our ultimate goal is to make a sale. So in the customer funnel, there's basically 3 stages that we're trying to hit. There's the awareness stage. So that's somebody who knows that they have a problem. My outdoor furniture is falling apart. I need to find some furniture. They're going to search for furniture near me. So the important thing there is to know that we need to include location-based words, so you're showing up for the cities that you're around, and then just being very clear with the products that you're offering. The next is the consideration stage. So once they find you, if they click through, what's the marketing language that we're using there to really attract them? That's your opportunity to stand out. You've already captured them. Now's the opportunity to take it to the next step and really try to deliver on the thing that's making you unique over your competition. And then finally, at the decision phase, we hope that those 2 levels of marketing language will end up in a purchase. So some practical things that you can do, even if you don't have your own website, is claim your Google business profile and start to optimize for it. So what you'll see here is the screen of a search result for a local search. And this is more and more important because Google's elevating these types of experiences in their search results. This is what's called the key 3 search results positions on a map, and this is what's important for local search. The top result's a sponsored post, so that's somebody who's paying for positioning. And then the other 3 are the 3 local businesses that Google's recommending. So the ways that you can optimize for this is, 1, you claim your profile, and then you start to add some descriptive words within that profile that will help people find you for the thing that they're trying to solve. Next, you want to add media and engage with the audience within that profile. So adding new images, new videos, and showing people what the experience of showing up to your property is going to be like is really important. And then finally, if you have happy customers, really encouraging them to add reviews. Reviews are really important for ranking and will help people feel assured that they're going to have a positive experience when they show up at your location. On your actual website, there's also opportunities to optimize for local SEO. So having areas we serve pages, especially if you're a retail location, is incredibly important. So really thinking about not just cities you're in, but other ways that people might search for you. So are you in Amish country? Is the area that you're in called something else? Thinking about the words that people are going to search for and integrating that onto your on-page copy. Including other words like more specifics. If somebody's looking for high-end furniture and they're going to search for branded searches, so including things like LuxCraft on your site will help ensure that you're providing high-quality products. Once people are on your website, it's going to be important for them to know where exactly you're located and if it's within their service area. So embedding experiences like having a map on your site can be helpful directionally for that. And then finally, this is important from a search engine perspective, is ensuring that your name, address, and phone number are consistent everywhere on your site. So it's in the footer, on your contact page, but then also on all the other third-party sites that you're on. So on your Google business profile, your Yelp page. And this gets all the way down to the point where, do you have dashes or parentheses around your phone number? Do you have, are you calling it street spelled S-T or street S-T-R-E-E-T? So being consistent all the way down to that level will help elevate you. I hand it back over to Seth to talk about the next level.
Great. So people have found you. They know they're in the right place. They're evaluating you among other furniture stores. Why do they choose you? I want to give you just a couple of quick techniques or strategies that you can use to maybe improve your marketing messaging a little bit so you stand out a little bit more. I think when you improve your brand and your messaging and your marketing, as much as it helps people relate to you and understand what you do, it sets the tone internally and brings clarity to what you're doing. So you know that we are talking to this person, we agree that this is our message, we agree that this is our strength. In your whole internal team, it's on paper, you have clarity of maybe everyone knows that in their mind who your customer is, but it's defined, we're all aligned and working together. So I think marketing is as important internally in becoming cohesive in your messaging as it is externally to your customer. So what we're saying is, to be understood, you have to be ordinary. You have to be selling outdoor furniture. You have to be selling a lifetime warranty. You have to be selling maintenance-free. All these words, you have to say these to be found. But to be chosen, you have to be exceptional. You have to figure out how you're going to talk to people in a way that's actually memorable, that's authentic to who you are, that represents your strengths as a business. How do you draw this out? How do you actually make marketing that just doesn't sound like everybody else, so people are stopping at the sign and never getting to the experience of what you can actually provide them as a furniture store, what LuxCraft can actually provide them as a product? So it's about getting away from some of these adjectives that don't really mean anything. When I say high quality, I could go find the cheapest plastic furniture online, and it's going to say high quality, maintenance free. That means something totally different to one person than it does to the next. So high quality, it kind of orients you where to look when you say it, but it doesn't really have much meaning to it. So we need to be specific, testable, experiential, and tied to a moment in someone's life. So what does more specific marketing look like? It's not complicated. Instead of saying designed for comfort, we say it's got a curved back for natural lumbar support, right? We're bringing it down to reality. It's not marketing language anymore. It's an actual benefit. It's an actual solution. Testable, instead of saying it's crafted for everyday living, we say spills don't soak in, they wipe away cleanly. Anybody can test this. Anyone can experience that. That's going to be something that's going to show up in a review. No one's going to review whether the furniture was crafted for everyday living. because that's not something we can test or really experience. We don't know what it means. But somebody might say, I bought this furniture, and man, boy, does it clean up easy because I actually experienced it. With LuxCraft, experiential and tied to a moment in someone's life, this is where we kind of feel words fall apart for LuxCraft. It's not the words that sell the furniture. It's really inviting somebody into the experience, and we do that at Cassel through the development of photos and videos that this really feels like what I want my backyard to feel like. For you, it might be in store when someone tries to move a chair and they see how heavy it is and they say, oh wow. Right now we're down to the experience. We're tying that back to the real solution, which is I want to have a beautiful place to host my friends for dinner, or whatever that experience is. So we're moving away from that more fluffy marketing language down to real, concrete, experiential, inviting people in marketing. But becoming exceptional and knowing what your strengths are takes attention. You can't just go through the motions. You gotta be thoughtful and intentional in your marketing. You gotta do some digging. You gotta put it on paper in a clear way that everyone can agree to and get aligned behind. And knowing your customer, knowing they don't buy premium, they actually are buying pride. They don't buy durable, they buy relief. They don't buy timeless. They want a place that they can return to. These are the things that they're after. So when we use these words like premium, durable, and timeless, we're not maybe thinking at the level of, are we really speaking to this person's desire, the solution they're looking for? We're so used to saying the same things over and over again. We need to step back and really connect with people in what they're after. So how do you do that? 3 easy things that we use for almost any branding project that we're doing at Cassel Bear. Persona, promise, and positioning when we're developing message. A buyer persona is keeping you aimed at the right person. The brand promise is, what is this experience like to work with us, to buy from us, to sit in the furniture? What is that going to feel like when you encounter our brand, wherever you encounter it, whether it's in-store, whether it's in a magazine, whether it's online? And then how are we different? How do we position ourselves against the competition? So these don't have to be complicated. It's more about getting everyone to agree and actually living up to this. If you went through these exercises and put them in a file and never looked at them again, it's no good to anybody. You actually have to commit. If you're going to make a promise, a brand promise, it has to feel like that to your customer. So that's what I mean. It starts to guide your internal efforts a little bit, because now you have a benchmark that you have made public, that you have said out loud, that you're trying to live up to. It can be very simple. This is the simplest customer persona I can think of for LuxCraft. LuxCraft customers are homeowners who treat their outdoor space like a real living area and want furniture that looks and feels high-end. Right? Simple, but it's on paper. Now we're aligned. This can get much more complicated, much more elaborate. Whatever's helpful to you in defining your customer. We might want to break it down. So if we want to develop specific marketing campaigns around specific solutions or specific needs, here's one customer we have. This is the host who wants comfortable seating for their guests. That's their main pain point. That's their most desired solution. Or somebody that's really, really interested in creating an outdoor living area that's going to be used every day, where they sit and relax, and it's really about an extra level of comfort for them. Or the buyer who won't settle. I just want the best. I don't care what you have to say to me. I recognize this is the best product on the market, and everything I have is the best, and I want this. And when you start developing messaging campaigns or deciding where you want to advertise, how you want to advertise, it really helps to know who you're talking to. If you can picture in your head, I am talking to one person and this is their problem, it brings clarity to your messaging and marketing, and it makes your marketing more effective overall than if you're just trying to say everything to everyone all at once. So one strategy, develop personas, put on paper who you're talking to, what their needs are. These can be much more complex than what we have here. Whatever is helpful for you to bringing that clarity to your business. Brand promise. This could be for any furniture store. We make outdoor living feel special with furniture built to higher standards. From selection through delivery, we make it easy to create an outdoor space you're proud of with guidance that inspires along the way. Right? Fairly generic, but now we have a framework. And now it becomes, how do we as a furniture store live up to this promise? What are the specific processes in our business? How do we train our employees? What is the customer experience like from the first moment they encounter us to when they have their furniture in their backyard that makes this promise feel true? So you can develop your own promise for your brand in your store But the important thing is that you actually live up to it. And then a positioning statement. Your customers narrowed it down. I want to choose from these stores in our area. Who am I going to visit today? Who am I going to talk to? For homeowners making a big purchase, we're the showroom built around decision confidence with clearer guidance and tighter follow-through than you'll get at most other furniture stores. Right? So now you're giving something that they can come in and say, okay, I feel best about going to you. Okay? And then how do you lean into this? Go through some examples of here, what this looks like in practice. Sorry, this is kind of small, so I'll try and read it the best I can. We got asked to do a brand for a septic company, right? Exciting. It's exciting stuff that we do every day at Cassel Bear. So right off the bat, we want to be crystal clear. Septic grease waste. You need the gross stuff gone, we make it go away. Like, I can't be any simpler or more clear than that. But then we get into more of the brand promise messaging. Up there it says, where it says, the name you trust when things get messy. So what's it like to work with us? We use very small fonts that don't translate well in presentations. Try here. Let me zoom in here. Okay, so the brand promise. We've been doing the dirty work long enough to know what matters. Dependable, down-to-earth service you don't have to think twice about. Right? We're recognizing that people don't get excited about choosing a septic company. Right? They just want the job done and know they can trust the people that show up. And all of this is done because we are thinking about the messaging behind this beforehand, so it comes together in a very cohesive way when it's actually presented to the customer in marketing messages. And then under it's time to come clean. It turns out reliable septic service doesn't have to be a hassle, just affordable, on time, and done right. So positioning ourselves against the competition just a little bit there. Here's another one for a brand we just did. Some of you might know Urban Barnwood Furniture, a hardwood furniture brand. They have recently rebranded as Aristawood. And so the concept behind Aristawood, I'll just go through the same kind of exercise we did here with the personas and the brand promise. Okay, so here's the thought behind how we decided to help Aristawood find their own unique voice and stand out against every other hardwood furniture manufacturer that's out there. Arista comes from the Greek for the best or most excellent, used to describe what stands apart, endures, and holds lasting value. It's not one thing that sets Aristawood apart, it's the small things done well that make the difference. Design, material, and method, each step adds to the whole, making refined wood furniture feel natural. It's all brought to light with a flawless finish where the care behind every decision shines through. Okay, that's kind of the background, that's kind of the internal description of the brand, and then it can show up, beauty that stands apart is the message that we want consumers to leave with. Mast attachments, this is a business just down the road. Here we're leading with a positioning statement. This is what a positioning statement looks like when it shows up in your marketing. Heavy-duty attachments built to work harder. Now we're going to back that up with specific descriptions of, we use half-inch steel when others use 3/8 inch. When we get deeper into that marketing funnel, we're going to back this up with actual practical real-world examples of what that looks like. Here's one, build your dream log home. There's nothing special about that marketing message, but it's exactly what people are looking to do when they come to this website. So right up front, we're telling them you're in the right spot. This is what you're looking for, where you want to be. Then right under that, a log home package that delivers more. Now we're getting into positioning. We're clear on what separates Hostetler log homes from everybody else. And then just one more. We work with the Berry Center. If anybody knows the author Wendell Berry in Kentucky, they have a beef business. And so what's different about their beef than everybody else? Well, the messaging here is flavor you can feel good about. So we have pasture-raised Kentucky beef, and then the positioning statement is, why is this beef different than anybody else? Well, the story behind it is actually you can feel very good that this comes from family farmers, all set up to support family farmers in Kentucky, and we are different than anybody else you can buy beef from. So differentiation starts with clarity. Once you have clarity, you can be found. And then when you're intentional about what makes you unique, when you do the work, when you think through what makes you different, you can get a brand that people recognize and remember. Not only that, it's going to help you in your marketing efforts. It's going to make everything more efficient. It's going to bring clarity to where you're advertising and who you're talking to. And the other cool thing now is once you have this information, you have a great friend. If any of you have started using AI to train AI with all this content you develop about yourself, and now AI is going to be able to produce marketing support for you in a way that's very tailored to your business, feels very natural, and can make you much more efficient. So I'll have Zach talk a little bit more about that.
Thanks. Perfect. So you're probably a lot like me. You heard what Seth said, and you're like, I'm not Robert Frost. I don't know how to write those words. So that's where AI can really come in and be a great tool for ideation and really help you leverage some of these messaging. So one way that you could potentially use it on your website is to help it write unique product descriptions for your website. So you could take the short blurb, you could take the information about the product, you can tell it a little bit about the audience that you're trying to connect with, and say, hey, write me a 10-word positioning statement and see what it comes up with, and add a little bit of your own flair in there, but as a tool, it's going to be a great place to get started. It's also a great tool to help search your website for opportunities to optimize for local content. So you can give it your website address, tell it to say, hey, I'm trying to reach more customers in this area that I see an opportunity for. Where should I be entering these keywords, and how can I reposition myself to connect with that new audience? You can also use it in your Facebook posts. Facebook's a great social media platform to connect with local audiences. So you can use it to help write some of those descriptions or give you ideas of what sort of media might connect better with the audience you're trying to connect there. And then finally, writing email headlines is a very great one too. So if you're somebody that has an email marketing list or you reach out with somebody, the very first barrier to entry to getting somebody to reach your website from a marketing email is getting them to actually open your email. So you can leverage AI to give you ideas to write a catchy headline that somebody's going to actually want to click on. So with all that being said, there's just a few points that I'll just reiterate of things that you could potentially do on your website to try to reach local audience and leverage AI. So first of all, definitely claim your Google business profile and get that optimized. You want to increase the amount of local keywords and other types of keywords for the products you're trying to sell, both on that business profile and on your website. You can keep things fresh, so the more you're optimizing for new experiences, adding new photos, videos, and engaging with content on your business profile, the more you'll be rewarded. Having the consistent information, your name, address, and phone. You could even take it a step further and provide up-to-date hours, especially around holidays. Google loves it when you do that. Anytime you're feeding in more information to them, you tend to be rewarded. And then when you're stuck for ideas or you have an idea and you don't quite know how to execute it, you can leverage AI to help you with some of those strategies and ways that you could practically implement onto your website. Seth and I will be around if anybody else has any questions and would like to pick our brain about anything. I'll be back at the booth back there and would love to talk to you about any of your ideas or objectives you're trying to accomplish, and maybe I can help lead you on the right path. Thank you all for your time.